Hey, how are you? I'm asking everyone by asking you. I hope you hear me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Did you hear me what I said?
Yeah, I heard you, but I think my mic wasn't functioning
Okay.
properly. Therefore,
So I am asking, how are you? Have you been
Alhamdulillah.
doing? No, but I am asking not only you. You are the representative of all our friends here. So
Uh,
I'm asking everyone.
Inshallah, they are
Inshallah. Yeah.
all fine. As long as we are alive and experiencing countless blessings, we have no reason to complain, I guess.
No reason. Alhamdulillah for everything. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. So, okay, I think we're ready to start. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله كل وصحبه كل أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Welcome to another session of delving into the Quranic treasure together. We are still on the sections about the definition of Quran, how we define Quran. Or in other words, which kind of book the Quran is. And as you can see, we cover 7 different aspects of Quran, different categories. And the very last one we're talking about is how the Quran addressed the social justice and in this case, provide universal guidance on that. So as we read and delve into the depthness of ayah, essentially, we all collectively, understand the Quran is not a book. Quran is the book. Quran does not contain just informations of any regular book. Quran is contain a library of information. And those information is not actually the information that junky. This is full of wisdom and truth. So yesterday, we reflect on the verse that it appears to refer to rabbis and monks. But the way we discuss, it became very clear to us the ayah speaks to us as a Muslims, particularly anyone who represent Islam. The ayah speaks to them and says, if you collect the money from other individuals on the name of religion, and then if you use for your own personal benefit or an unfair way, then in this case that the Quran gave them a glad tidings of the hellfire, threaten them that will buy them the fire from the Jahannam. So in this regard, that as we reflect on it, we find out that the ayah will start and mention rabbi and monks, and then go and generalize and give us a general principles that saying anyone who unfairly accumulates wealth, whether through tricks in marketing, whether through trick in professional jobs, or whether through exploitation of certain resources, we'll call in economics monopoly. All of those in Quranic sense are considered to be unjust and unfair way of acquiring wealth and is condemned with the hellfire. So in that basically means that we have to, yes, the Quran clearly state, we covered before, bay' means trade is halal, but it has to be fair. Fairness and justice is essential Quranic principle, and the Quran provides through this example, provide us a universal guidance of how we should bring justice to our business, to our profession, to our society. So in this regard, Quran is not just about guiding one person as an individual, Qur'an is in a way setting a universal guidance for the society and for humanity as well. And today, we mentioned briefly, we're going to delve into an ayah. And I think that is, if we could, inshallah, with the grace of Allah, manage to cover that, that should be a truly, changing our mind of how we perceive the Quranic ayah. Because we mentioned yesterday when you read it, it seems like it just talks about orphans. Then everyone knows, oh, you should support and help the orphans. Don't do any injustice to their wealth. But the Quran is not a simple guidance. So we're going to delve into this. Let's hear from Dr. Ali, because I know there are a lot to say. So inshallah, if we can cover all that, I think it's going to be a really amazing way to understand the true content of Quran and its comprehensiveness.
Thank you for a beautiful summary. Of course, we talked yesterday about rabbis and priests and imams, sheikhs, but we didn't talk about ourselves. If anyone is known as a Muslim among his workplace, neighborhood, among colleagues, schools, friends, maybe family members, there are some family members, not they are all the same. If I am known as a Muslim, I have to behave myself. In any case, I cannot really do something wrong while I am known as a Muslim. So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't hide our Islamic identity, but that is the very general message. It is nothing only rabbi and priest. We talked about it, and as you said, Dr. Najati summarized it. It encompasses everyone who represents religion in public place and public figures, but at the same time, for example, I am living here and my next door neighbor is a Christian, whether they practice or not, but I see that they are Christians. Now, so I know they know me as a Muslim, so I have to behave myself, because if I do something wrong, it doesn't really remain with me only. It extends to Islam. That was the sensitive point, and we learned the universal message in this particular ayah, mentioning about particular two types of category, priests and rabbis, but universal side. Now today, although yesterday we introduced the ayah, but I loved the ayah, and as I bolded out, orphan, your worthless property, their valuables, this is the secret of the Quran, and this is the secret of our discussion. We will end up at the end, inshallah, but let's go further, fast, a little bit fast. But still, I would like to hear the ayah again. Inshallah, start the discussion with the ayah. I got it ready again, just to hear.
وآتوا اليتامى أموالهم ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم إنه كان حوبا كبيرا.
Fine. As I read it yesterday, just to start the discussion, give orphans their wealth and do not exchange your worthless properties for their valuables. Not cheat them by mixing their wealth with your own, for this would indeed be a great sin. Avoid from it. Okay, we talked about it. Now, in order to understand the concept of the orphan, their valuables, and our worthless properties, first we have to remember, very briefly, I will go a bit fast here, so that's why we need to concentrate, inshallah, our attention to step by step at a long step. The staircase is long, but we'll go step by step, how we can see the universal aspect of the Quranic message. Although talking about one point, orphan. Now, first of all, what is the purpose of the Quran? Let's refresh our mind to teach us what we don't know. That is the purpose of the Quran. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So God, Allah, taught humanity what he didn't know. This everybody knows, right? That is what we keep saying that. What we don't know is in the Quran al-ghaib. Ghaib means the absolute being, absolute word, infinite word. Ghaib. Not within the conditions of this universe. But what these limited conditions of the universe, the way it is created, points to an absolute being. And other beings as well, angels, next creation, hereafter, and revelation, God's speech, God is speaking how. These are all in ghaib. We know the 6 pillars of belief, all related to ghaib. So I am continuing to teach what the attributes, qualities, names of God, Esma'ullah, Isfatullah, are also وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. He taught Adam all the names. What does it mean? Very briefly. The quality, the capacity to know the names manifested in the creation, pointing to their qualities of their creator. Not only this is a table, I'm saying, which language? So we know that the quality is manifesting to it. All qualities. Briefly, angels, each angel know one quality, one ism. Human beings' capacity is able to know all the qualities manifested in this universe, names of God manifested in this universe, so he can know human beings, although this verse is talking about Adam, but as usual, Quran talks about one event, but message is universal. So every human being is given potentially to acknowledge, to recognize the qualities, Isma'ul Husna, Isma of the Creator manifested in each being. But not only the Creator, not only the designer, not only the beautifier, not only the wisely creation, but all of them we don't know, we can know. That is the comprehensive understanding of the word, although mentioning about Adam, one person. That is what we have to bear in mind. First, human beings are given the qualities to know all the qualities of the Creator. The second is, but we don't know these qualities if we are not taught. That is why we have to read the Quran bearing in this mind. Okay, I'm going a bit fast. But the Quran mentions about matters which are known to everyone. For example, stealing, killing innocent people, lying, exploiting the rights of the orphans are bad. And giving to charity, protecting the rights of orphans, etc., are good actions. They are universally known and accepted and generally practiced. There may be exceptions, always there may be exceptions, because human beings have free will. Now, where is the point of ghaib in these actions not known by everyone? we expect from the Quran to tell us about something that we don't know, right? But we are going step by step. Oh, sorry. Where is the information that we don't know in this verse? Okay, here we are. Principle. This is the principle. There is a belief aspect in all Sharia rules which tie our good deeds to belief in ghaib, which is infinite. Now, we have to look for it. Thus, this is a key point. Now, thus, a limited physical action becomes a source of infinite benefit. That is why we are given a limited life here. But within this limited life, either we will end up with an infinite pleasurable life, pleasurous life, or infinite comfortable existence, satisfaction, or infinite punishment, torture, although limited. Now, in our actions, in each actions that we obey or disobey, in what we are doing, there is a door which opens to infinity. So, in taking care of orphans, where is infinity? Now, ready? Shall we move? Now, this is, again, what is written in blue or whatever the color is important. If we really want to learn how to read the Quran and benefit from its universal message, we have to follow the consistency of the message of the Quran extremely carefully. We will do a case study now, and you can apply this method when you read the other verses of the Quran as well, inshallah. Now, my purpose, personally, give one example how to apply infinite perspective, which is the subject of belief, to a limited action, whether praying or whether giving to charity or taking care of an orphan. Now, how are we going to do this? This is an example. That's why I will explain a bit in details. One case study, right? In the Quran, now another aspect that we have to remember. Now,
Dr. Ali, may I interrupt you? Yeah, I think so. This is a very good point. So let me just briefly highlight what you said to make sure everyone on the same steps before you take us to the next steps, because it's very essential. So I think the key part here, what you're saying, that how we approach the Quran is very essential. If the Quran is telling something that we don't know, that means we need to look at every wording and verse of Quran to see what is the ghaib that Quran is telling me. In this regard, the ghaib, essential part on the ghaib is the attribute, the quality of the creator that Quran speaks about. So which means I need to look at the Quran as the book that connect me to the creator. And I need to look at in every verse that how the Quran is connecting me to the creator, besides just give me something that I already know or someone else can know. So I think that's the key part. And that's, I guess, you're going to show how this is clearly shown in this particular ayah.
Excellent. That's a good point. Right. So, Bismillah. The Quran encourages amal salih, which is translated as good deeds. With it is almost 100 verses in the Quran. Amali Salih, almost 100, out of which 48, almost half, of them mentions the phrase adjacent to amenu ve amilu salih. So, like amenu ve amilu salihat, those who believe and do good deeds. Good deeds. Good deeds are two types. Type one, doing what is right to do, and also good deeds, type B, not doing what is wrong to do, avoiding the wrong. So this is a good deed as well. So inshallah, we will be careful that I'm sure no one has ever experienced anything alcoholic or one day I was driving, and for some reason the police stopped me and asked me, because I was eating and driving on the highway. Crazy, but I was doing that for some reason. So the police came and stopped me and said, are you tired or something? What? How long have you been driving? And I was driving interstate, of course. No, and he said, did you take some alcohol? I said, no, never. I'm a Muslim. I never taste. He said, you never tasted? He said, yes, I never tasted. So what does it mean? By not. He couldn't believe, but at the end, when I said I am a Muslim, it is prohibited by our religion, inshallah, he was convinced. So that is the event that people use it or think it is unusual, but for Muslims it's all usual. So when you don't drink, it is a good thing. Anytime you drink water with the consciousness that this is permissible, this is permitted by the creator of the water, that is why I am drinking it. If it was an alcohol, then I wouldn't drink. Obeying the order. Why are you drinking? I am obeying the order of the creator because I have to take care of the need of my body. He said, drink anything except the one includes alcohol in it or liquor in it, whatever you call it. Okay, so this is, if we are conscious of it, this is a good action. If we are not conscious of it, alhamdulillah, but it's not counted as good action. Just doing something not wrong. That's it. Bismillah. Now, إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية. Those who believe and do good deeds are the best of creation. If this were in this verse, belief and doing good deeds are adjacent. But we also need to be careful about amenu, almost always, as far as I remember in the Quran, not literally, but meaning-wise, for the context, within the context, Amal Salih is mentioned first, and then after that, Amenu aspect of the same action brought. Only one exception out of 48 verses comes first. Amenu comes first, and Amal Salih follows it. Why? Why? Because we all know that any action which is performed as a consequence, as a result of belief put into practice, that's good action. Otherwise, it is just waste of action. Now, in this verse, if they are not adjacent next to each other. We have to be very careful while we are reading the Quran. The good deeds, amal salih, is described as performed وهو مؤمن. It means while being a believer. In some verses. Now, we have to be very careful. It means while being a believer, as a believer, if you do an action, this action, amal, becomes salih. Am I clear? This action, what makes an action in the term of the Quran, salih, good, it is done, performed according to the requirements of the belief because of the belief. We have to be very careful. Because I believe that the owner of water is the owner of the universe. He is the owner. He allowed me to use it. And I am drinking in the name of God. When I say Bismillah, I must bear in mind that I am drinking with the permission of the owner of the water. Not that I found it naturally. They call it a natural water. No, natural water. No, that is provided deliberately for me. This consciousness makes the action in the terminology of the Quran, salih. Otherwise, unbelievers, disbelievers also doing actions, not salih. Now we will go further. Bismillah.
Dr. Ali, may I pose you here? I think on the behalf of audience, I am sure they are now all curious, want to ask, when someone helped others, they're helping, let's say you're helping a poor person with the intention to help the poor person, not expecting anything in return. Why it's not good deed from Quranic perspective?
We are going to talk about it.
Okay.
Inshallah. Bismillah. من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن. Look, من عمل صالحا, there is no iman mentioned. آمنوا وعملوا. But when عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى, there is iman there. وهو مؤمن. فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون. Whoever does good, whether male or female, while he is a believer, as a result of his belief, confirmation of his belief, we will surely bless them with a good life. And we will certainly reward them according to the best of their deeds. No, it's a good news as well, Dr. Najat. It's exciting. According to the best of their good deeds. You know, you are a teacher, I know. Is something wrong there?
Yeah, there was a mistake. I correct that. The audience says that the ayah number was wrong. The surah, I correct that. It should be 98. It was 89, it's 98.
Good. When I write next to the Arabic changes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you, whoever corrected it. So, best of. You are a teacher. I know you are teaching, you are a professor. So teaching, what do you do? For example, in a term, I think you follow the term, semester, whatever you call it. You give an, before finals, you give some tests to the students. Yeah, some tests, some, and then you get the, how do you say, average of it. Now, the first test was 60, the other one is 80, the other one is 30. You say, okay, average is let's say 55. But Allah promises. It's a good news. That's what I love sharing good news for myself as well. You gave the tests to students, now midterms, they call it. Now, in the midterm exams, and I got 10 in one of them, and another one I got 40, and another one I got 95, and another one I got 15. So Allah says, I'm going to give you 95. What does it mean? You know, while we are praying, I know from my own experience, first rekah, I am a little bit aware of what I am doing. Second rekah, I'm lost. So later in sajda, I become a little bit aware. So Allah says, okay, I'll take the best part of your prayer and reward you with this best part. Have you ever done this in your whole teaching career?
Dr. Ali, actually, we do that. We have a particular assessment. The student can have more than one attempt. The grading policy is this. When you do the second attempt, there are three options we give the students. Either you take the average of first and second attempt, or you say no harm, meaning that if the second attempt is better, you take the average. If worse, you don't take the average. You count the first attempt. And the third option, take the highest one, which means that among those all attempts you make it, we can choose the option. The system will take the highest score and give it to the students. In modern time, we do have such assessment. We can choose as an instructor to give it. But
Yeah,
most of the time, I prefer to give no harm, meaning that if your second, third attempt is better, it's going to count. Otherwise, it's not. But I don't give them the highest. I'm not that much generous.
Well, you should be. You should be. Thank you. So let's go there. Because it is the steps are short but long, staircase is long. That's why I'm hurrying because I don't want our friends here to get bored of it. When we are reading the verses of the Quran and seeing that it is ordering us to do deeds and prohibiting us not to do bad actions, and good deeds, do it, don't do it, bad actions. First, we should look at this verse and ask, how do these actions connect to our belief in ghaib? Now, for example, I am doing something, it's a good action. Now, planting something or helping somebody, the typical simple examples, where is the belief in ghaib aspect of it? We have to ask this. Let's reflect on this verse that was our subject today, the orphan. That's the verse about orphan. This verse, and think about the link between these deeds and the concept of believing in al-ghaib. Now, we are preparing our minds now. How are we going to link? Now, two, we need to question whether we are going to do it only because it is ordered to do, or we are asked to do it to experience belief in practicing the good deeds. Now, not only because we are ordered, but we have to see the wisdom. Why are we ordered and why we are expected to do it? So I am doing it because I am ordered, but not only for this, because I am ordered by the one who is wise creator, and he is giving me the opportunity to experience my belief through practicing these good deeds. Did I get it? Oh, is it clear? Through experiencing these good deeds in practical life, God ordered me to do it in order to see the aspect of this action which looks or shows the infinite side of it. It means belief side of it.
So can I give a quick example? So it's like when I'm helping the poor, I'm experiencing and understanding the mercy of Allah. Is that what you're saying in this case? So in a way that as I help the poor and I understand that indeed that there must be one with the infinite mercy who is helping everyone and me and the poor as well.
Now, this connection, my belief in the creator of my feelings, which urges me to help the needy one, and also Sharia, Qur'an orders me to help the needy one, and I have to say, why? Why God asks me to do this through my creation and through his speech? Now, we will come to this point. And I have to see, as you said, now, there must be a point here that I have to open up to eternity, infinite side of it. Now, I don't know, everybody pays tax. For example, when you pay tax, what do you say? I have to, especially in the States. State means that they say United States is based on two things, the for sure. One, tax, the second, death. You got to you have to die one day, that's sure, and also you have to pay your death. They are equal. So severe and so tight, this tie. Why do people pay tax? Because they have to. Do they see any external, infinite dimension of it? No. That is the difference between obeying the Sharia established by the Creator and obeying the law established by human beings. That is criteria never ever should be neglected. That's what we have to see in our, oh, I'm doing this because Allah ordered me to do it. What shall I do? I have to pray. But this is not a secular state law. It is the order from your creator for another purpose. While you are doing this, you will see the aspect of it which goes into infinity. I mean, that is why Quran 48 times orders us believe and do good action. Believe and do good action. You cannot separate. Any good action cannot be separated from belief, according to the teachings of the Quran, divine law. That is the difference between divine law and secular law. Now, essential, huh? So, three, to ask, where are the names of God? Because I am given the capacity to know the names of God manifested in these actions. Where are they? That we are performing, that whatever the action we are performing. Am I experiencing the names of God now while I am protecting an orphan? Am I experiencing? Where is the name of God manifested? Dr. Najati gave us the example, helping somebody. What Dr. Najati just briefly touched on, I am experiencing mercy. I am experiencing protection. I am experiencing the compassion, right? I am experiencing social support each other, human relationship. Now, this is what we have to know, that Allah is introducing himself through creating this way. When I obey it, I obey Allah's purpose of creation. Why he created me? To get to know him and worship him Now accordingly, act, that get to know him and act accordingly, which is called in the Quran, ibadah. ليعبدوني, وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدوني. Ibn Abbas says, وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعرفوني وليعبدوني. The Razi narrates this. So we understand that without knowing, we cannot worship. I don't know what I am doing, but I am worshiping. But I have to know him so that I will worship him. That's why knowing him is seeing the names of the Creator in the created beings. Extremely important point. So let's do this.
Dr. Ali, let's begin, just interrupt you, because this is really essential before we go in detail. So what I see from this, essentially, there is an experiential learning here, which means that everything that happened to us or everything that we experience in life is for the sake of knowing him, is for the sake of getting connected to him. I don't know whether there could be any exception to that. It seems like the Quran is teaching us and saying life as a whole and every event that happened to you in life is a way of knowing your Creator, connecting to him, understanding his quality, his attribute through that experience. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether you are young, whether you are old, no matter what happened to you, everything is happening to you for those reasons. I think that is an amazing way to look at the life and to look at the event of life. That's what really I got it from what you explained it through this. I think it's an amazing point.
Let's do a case study on orphan. Where is the universal message in this verse that we have been studying? Now, do we not know that the orphans need to be taken care of? Dr. Nejat touched about it. Who doesn't know this? We know that there are many organizations run by mostly non-believers to help the orphans all over the world. No, that's the case. Why? Then, does the Quran talk about it by mentioning a practice happening in its revealing time and space that some people, of course, there are always some people. Yes, you have to pay tax. That's the law. But does everybody pay tax? No, some people doesn't. So they are in trouble at the end, but we have free will. So can it be a means of teaching humanity? Because Quran takes this opportunity, if you like. There are some people who are mistreating the orphans. In every society, there are many people who mistreat other people. Now, even nowadays, very disguised mistreating. They don't really come and steal your property from your house, but there are so traps. They take your money without realizing that they are stealing. Now, but this is the case. Can it be a means of teaching for the Quran? Of course, humanity, a universal message that the human beings cannot know. Huh? Ghaib. Do you think there is a teaching in this ayah which we don't know? If we really understand the Quran, that this is a universal message. This is not only for orphans. Just a minute. So we have to careful. We have to be very careful. Yes, it is talking about ghaib, which is not known to human beings. What is it? The Quran warns us with 23 verses about the rights of orphans. I went through the page which the root word. I take the root word and search for it. I counted. I was surprised that Quran mentions 23 times about protecting the rights of orphans. I was shocked. I thought maybe 4 or 5. No, no, no. 23 verses about rights of orphan and to be careful about not abusing their vulnerability because child doesn't know, cannot do anything. So these verses are establishing the rights of orphans, but we need to understand the term even in a larger context according to the definitions of the Quran, and it is maqasid. It means according to we should read the Quran according to the definitions of the Quran that inshallah we studied some, we will study more now, and also objectives of the Quran, purposes of the Quran. We have to bear in mind, what am I reading and what is the purpose? Now, when a verse orders us to do or not to do anything, the verse is telling us, I created you with your intellect and senses, and they are physically informing you to do what they urge you to do. Now, if you see a baby left over, you went out in the morning for Salat Fajr, you found a baby on the street left. Can you just ignore it? I'm going to pray. Dr. Najati, can you just ignore this baby, maybe 5 days or a week old?
I don't think so.
Who can? Who can? Who can? You don't have to be a believer in God. It is in you. It is in you. Created, this sense is within you. Now, but still Quran orders verbally. This is what we are going to understand. I am informing, sorry, the Quran is speaking now. I am informing, remind you, tazkira, in my verbal guidance, the revelation, in this case, the Quran, as the owner of your being, body, and spirit. Now, your body and the spirit asking you to do what I am telling you in my revelation. Now, although it is in me, but in his revelation, God is teaching, ordering me to do this. First, by acknowledging that I gave you these intellect and senses and use them in my name. Now, we know this. These senses are given to me. I have to use these senses within my creation in the name of the Creator, not in your name. Now, this revelation, one aspect of this revelation, reminds us that I am the one who ordered you, not only in the Quran, in your creation also to take care of the orphan. I am the one. So you have to use it. I cannot stand if I see the baby left in the street for any reason. I cannot neglect and ignore it. This is Quran says, I am the one who is ordering you in your creation and also expressing it verbally as well. This means, I am going fast, but I have to. Otherwise, the time is limited. This means when you take care of an orphan, don't be proud of your action as if this sense is your property. God is saying in the message, it is my property. Acknowledge this and be thankful to me because I am the one who provided you with these senses. Now, we must read the Quran and the physical creation as two parts of the same message. In this case, the physical creation is the intellect, consciousness, and feelings created in my being by the creator of the universe. If someone doesn't confirm that they are created then the subject changes at this point. No. Now, if they don't believe, there is no subject of good deed, because we have to establish the belief first. That's what we have been studying. 48 ayat saying believe and do good deeds. It means without belief, good deeds are not categorized in the Quran as good deeds. They are categorized in the Quran fi'l. It means action. Now, or amal, but usually Quran uses amal for human beings, but in some cases, well, that is some other point anyway, this Balagha Quran. First, we first belief in the absolute creator of the universe must be established, and only then we can talk about amal salih. That's why for unbelievers, there is no amal salih. Now, no responsibility. Of course, it is the fiqh rule as well. If someone doesn't believe, you cannot really believe in Islam. You cannot really say, expect him not to drink alcohol and punish him because he drank alcohol. Let's remember the Quran mentions first Aminu and then Wa'amilu Salih. That is just the summary. Now,
Dr. Ali, again, I have to pause you. Yeah, can you go back again? I think it might not be quite clear that why the belief is necessary for anything to be considered as Amal Salih. Can you explain it again, maybe through
we will
one
do that.
example? Okay.
We will do that, inshallah. Here we are. The Quran and the universe are speaking side by side. The Quran explains the reality of the universe. The universe witnesses the truthfulness of the message of the Quran. This is the principle we have to bear in mind. Now, the words are different. We have to be careful. Quran explains the reality of the universe. Now, the universe's job is Quran's mission is to explain the reality of the universe. On the other side, the profession or the job of the universe is witnessing the truthfulness of the message of the Quran. One of them explains, the other one is witnesses. It means, yes, what the Quran says is true. I witnessed that. Now, all right, we will hear an ayah as just right there, at the right point, Dr. Nejati wanted to talk. And I said, stop. Wait, be patient. So here we come to this ayah. Let's listen to this ayah first, and we will talk about it as long as we have time, why this ayah is so important. Well, not one ayah, actually. There are 4 ayats here, as far as I know. Now, let's listen to this ayah now. Bismillah.
قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا
Oh, sorry.
قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا ذلك جزاؤهم جهنم بما كفروا واتخذوا آياتي ورسلي هزوا.
It's a very severe ayah. Very severe ayah. Say, shall we inform you of who will lose the most deeds? A'mal. but not amal salih. Huh? Careful. Deeds, amal. They are those whose efforts are in vain in this worldly life. While they think they are doing good. Wow. أنهم يحسنون صنعا. There are more meanings in these ayats, but I don't want to divert the subject. No. It is they who reject the signs of their Lord. Not because they drink alcohol, they drink bad. No. Good deeds. I'm doing good deeds, helping. For example, I have an orphanage, and there are 100 orphans that I am taking care of. Now, it is they do reject the signs of their Lord in the action they are doing. They don't see the signs of their Lord, manifested Esma Ilahi. And also not only rejecting the signs and attributing it to themselves, and their meeting with him. The end is, I am doing this in the name of God, so I am going to go back to him and say that, thank you, you gave me this ability, and I performed it in your name. But they don't do that. So they reject Akhirah. They say, we are going to leave behind a good memory or a statue. So rendering their deeds void. Wow. If we don't see the signs of Ayatullah. Now, here the ayah says, الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه. Now, those people, in their action, what the signs, messages of God manifested their ayah, and liqa'ihi, that they are going to meet him, because they deny this, but at the same time do some actions. That is why they are rendering their deeds void. فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. So we will not give their deeds any weight on Judgment Day. Wow. It's not really, if we are not careful about the messages of Allah in the action that we are doing, we are losing a lot. Of course, inshallah, we don't deny, but at the same time, consciousness is needed. That's why this ayah related to kuffar. Are you conscious of the messages of God in your action? That is also related to me. Their recompense for having disbelieved and made fun of my messages. I don't need religion. My feelings enough. And my messengers. No. وَاتَّخَذُوا آيَاتِي وَرُسُلِي هُزُوًا will be hell. Wow. There is an option. Oh, the time is up. Now, there is an option. Some people, inshallah, none of us, do good action, end up with hell. How? Why? There is a question. But we never talk about fiqh perspective. We are talking about belief perspective. Now, Dr. Najat, we have only 1 minute for you to wrap up. Do you think we can continue from this ayah onwards
I think we should. I think inshallah we can continue on that. Let me briefly summarize. I think this is very, very essential. What you mentioned essentially. Remember, I kept asking you 2-3 times, and you delay, and I think the answer came finally. Alhamdulillah. So the answer is that whoever does any good thing, if they are not doing in connection with the iman, that is not gonna count. No matter how good you are, no matter how helpful you are, from the Quranic perspective, this is invalid, not amali salih, is not a good deed. So therefore, there will be no reward, and actually there will be punishment. It's ironic that you claim that you have thousands of people, you are the most helpful person. The Quran say, I'm going to put you, Allah says, I'm going to put you in the hell. That is very essential to understand that. The reason is that I was trying to really understanding, as you explain, I say it's like this. It's like I'm completely paralyzed, have no powers, and I see people around me helpless and asking for help. I want to help them, but I don't have any power. But somehow, when I ask for help, only asking, and I see the help came to them after my asking. Now, the question for me is that, can I take credit and say I am the one helping them? Or should I recognize the source of help and actually be thankful because of that? So in this regard, I see when he says this is not fiqh, this is aqeedah issue, this is about the rububiyyah, to understand that all goodness, all khair come from khair mutlaq. He is alone, has the power and does everything. So therefore, anyone who does good, if they think it's them doing the good, they have aqeedah problem. And therefore, they are in Quranic perspective, they are committing crime. They are not doing the good things. They are denying the source of goodness. Therefore, they don't deserve the reward. They actually deserve punishment. I think that is really amazing. And inshallah, we can continue on this tomorrow.
Now, inshallah, tomorrow we will explain why they end up with hell. Do you think everyone who does good deed and they are not a Muslim, they will end up with Jahannam because of their their deeds that they think I am doing good, right? So why? The reason is why. And we will explain this. And of course, at the end, inshallah, tomorrow, we will generalize the concept of orphan. Why 23 times God keeps speaking about orphan? We know that praying is very essential. 27 times ordered. That's not so important. So does orphan, like prayer. Prayers 5 times a day. Orphan is, you may see one orphan or not. What does it mean? Puzzling. Inshallah, slowly but surely we will discover it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة. Inshallah, see you tomorrow.
Okay, inshallah. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone, and see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.